In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the best areas in all of Winston-Salem. This is going to be kind of like a city guide. My name is Ramon Lomeli. I'm a local realtor and the team leader of the Smart Move Group brokered by eXp Realty. We've got connections all over the state, but we primarily focus in the Winston-Salem area. And the reason that I wanted to make this video for you guys today is that Winston-Salem, even though we're a small big city as I like to call it, it is kind of an expansive city. There's a lot of different areas of the city, so I want to cover kind of what the best places are depending on what you're looking for. So in this video, I'm hoping to show you some of the coolest and most popular areas in the Winston-Salem area. First, we're going to be talking about restaurants. Where are the best restaurants in town? Winston-Salem is no different than many cities. Our downtown is littered with amazing food, great coffee shops, both chain and local restaurants live in downtown Winston-Salem. On the topic of food, there's actually a lot of food trucks. In fact, this past weekend, there was a big food truck festival that comes to Winston-Salem every spring and summer. But some of my favorites downtown are going to be like Jay Butler's if you're looking for something really fancy. Some of my favorite downtown restaurants are going to be probably like east of Texas. I really enjoy. There's a lot of really cool breweries I like to have food at. There's a lot of taco trucks and food trucks everywhere. There's also the Tulum Mexican restaurant, which is a family-owned business I really enjoy. There's Hef's Burger Bar. There's Timmy's Hot Chicken. There's all kinds of stuff. There's like Jeffrey Adams if you're looking for something a little bit more upscale and fancy. But those are just kind of some of the ones that come to mind, but there's so many. Another place where you can find some great food inside of Winston-Salem is going to be the Reynolda Village. Now, Reynolda Village is a really cool place. It's kind of part of that Reynolda House Museum and Gardens. So there's a lot of shopping and dining. It's a very kind of upscale area, but I really like going to the Penny Path Cafe there. There's also Bobby Boy Bake Shop and a couple of smaller restaurants. Oh, I almost forgot. Inside of Reynolda, they also have My Way Dumplings, which is probably my favorite dumpling place inside of Winston-Salem. Another place you may want to consider if you're hungry is going to be Jonestown Road. Now, Jonestown Road is a really popular road just because it's so close to everything. Highway, shopping, dining, the mall, the theater, everything is kind of off of Jonestown Road. And there happens to be a really good Latin restaurant that I really enjoy. Actually just ate with some friends there not too long ago. It's called Que Viva Latin Grill. But also Los Juanes is one of my favorite authentic Mexican restaurants. Super friendly people, like handmade home tortillas, really like authentic, like really authentic food. Los Juanes there. You also have Honky Tonk Barbecue for some authentic kind of Carolina-based barbecue if you're into that kind of thing. And there are a bunch of other restaurants on Jonestown Road, but those are kind of three of the notable ones that come to my head. Up next, we're going to be talking about my wife's favorite thing to do, and yes, that is shopping. Don't tell her I said that. Thankfully, I work with a ton of out-of-state clients. Actually, the majority of my clients are out-of-state, and sometimes the questions that they ask me make me think that they're assuming that we don't have like plumbing in North Carolina or that we don't have street signs and things of that nature. But I say that all to say that we have plenty of shopping, more shopping that you know what to do with inside of Winston-Salem. The only place where I really feel like we might be lacking a little bit in as far as shopping goes is like high-end luxury shopping. I believe the closest place to do some of that would be like going to Charlotte to South Park Mall. There might be a couple places in Raleigh, but around here there's not, we don't have a Gucci store in Hanes Mall. And speaking of which, Hanes Mall, obviously a great place to do some shopping. You'll find your JCPenney, your Belk, ton of stores in there that, change from time to time, but I feel that Hanes Mall is the same, if not even a little bit bigger than almost any mall that I've ever been to. You can do your Journeys, there's the Forever 21, there's a piercing place, the pretzel place, a little carousel in the middle, you've got escalators, a lot of big anchor kind of chain stores, big stores like JCPenney and Belk, a couple others, and you also have a lot of like trendy stores that pop in, pop out when they come into fashion, I guess. So no different than any mall that I've ever been to. And you also got like almost across the street from each other, Costco and Sam's Club. You also got a Lowe's Home Improvement and a Home Depot right next to each other. Tons of shopping, Home Goods, Marshalls, Targets everywhere, all on Hanes Mall Boulevard. So if you're coming to the Hanes Mall area, I mean, anything from furniture to underwear, whatever you want, you can find it on Hanes Mall Boulevard and Stratford Road. So Stratford Road does intersect with Hanes Mall Boulevard, which is basically where our big mall here. But if you keep going down on Stratford Road, you'll find another kind of more higher end place to shop. And that's going to be the Thruway Shopping Center. So that's going to be a little bit more upscale. That's where our Trader Joe's is going to be at. There's a lot of like shoe stores, like big, huge shoe stores that I can't even remember the name of them right now. Vegan options are over there. All the high-end shopping that you want to find in the city. If you don't want to go to Charlotte, you can probably find most of the things in the Thruway Shopping Center. And the other thing is that there's so many, you'll be just driving, you'll see a huge shopping center with a Target or it used to be Kmart back in the day, but like a Walmart or a Target, and there's all these businesses around it. So there's plenty of shopping to do. The biggest ones I'm definitely going to think, in my head at least, are going to be your Haynes Mall area, your Thruway Shopping Center. Also, Reynolda Village has some really good high-end shopping as well. Now let's talk about residences or where to live. Where are the best areas to live? Now, I have done full in-depth videos, so make sure you check out my channel if you want to see a more in-depth look at this, but I'm going to just generally braze over the best areas to live in inside of Winston-Salem, in my opinion. And for the most part, I'm going to be breaking these down in the form of zip codes to make it easier to understand. First up, let's talk about 27103, which is a very busy commercial zip code. If you like shopping, this is where our mall is. This is where all the restaurants, well, not all the restaurants, but a lot of the restaurants are. All the happening things happen in 27103 is when it comes to shopping, dining, and entertaining. I'm going to guess that as far as surface roads, is going to be kind of our busiest area as well as our most highly trafficked area. Like, there's more traffic there, a lot more stoplights in 27103. But yeah, you've got shopping, dining, and you are bordering Clemens. One of the highly sought after areas in all of Winston-Salem is Clemens. The Ardmore neighborhood, the famous and coveted neighborhood in Winston-Salem, Ardmore, that's actually in 27103. And also 27103 is home to one of the city's largest hospitals. I also think you'll enjoy 27104, which is a zip code on the western side of town. This zip code is a little bit more calm and definitely some of the more residential for sure as well. And some of the best neighborhoods in all of Winston-Salem reside inside of 27104. All the neighborhoods off of Country Club, Reynolda, Robin Hood, all of those areas are highly sought after areas with amazing neighborhoods that are, really well taken care of and sell quite quickly. Also, I think that you should consider 27106 as one of the best zip codes in Winston-Salem. Wake Forest University actually sits inside of 27106. You also have Reynolda Village and the Reynolda House Museum. So a lot of really popular things in the city lie within 27106. Many places to shop, dine, there's things to do, obviously. You're also really close to an area that we like to call Pofftown, or we don't like to call it, that's what it's called, Pofftown, Pfafftown. I laugh because a lot of people recently have been exploring that area with me, and no one can pronounce it correctly. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but from what I hear, other people say it's Pofftown, not Pfafftown. And the reason I bring that up is because Pofftown is a growing suburb of Winston-Salem with really, really good schools, and the home values are starting to rise there. People are starting to figure out that Pofftown is a thing, and people are starting to move there. They're starting to build a lot of houses out there. It used to be just very rural. Now it's getting developed. It's one of those areas that I feel like if you buy a house right now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to make a ton of profit on that property. Amazing schools in 27106. Also, 27106 has one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Winston-Salem, which is Brookberry Farm. I hope to live there. If the videos go well, if I become a famous YouTuber, I'm going to buy a house in Brookberry Farm. Up next, we're going to be talking about healthcare. Before we jump into that, though, I know it's annoying, but do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. Let's take a break to hit the like button. Leave me a comment, but above all, subscribe, because honestly, speaking with you guys, it really does mean a whole lot to me when you guys hit that like button, when you comment, when you subscribe. It keeps me motivated, makes me excited and motivated to, sit down and write out these scripts and figure out what I'm going to say to you lovely people. So thank you so much for doing that, and I appreciate it going forward. I'm going to leave you some awesome links in the about section of this video, like homes for sale in these areas that we're talking about. Also, all of Winston-Salem, the free Winston-Salem relocation guide, and most importantly, well, maybe not, but I'm going to leave my social media handles. Now, obviously, I want more followers, but the real reason that I'm doing this is because I do a ton of short form content talking about neighborhoods in the area, things to do in the area, restaurants in the area, so you can kind of get to know Winston-Salem by looking at my TikTok, my Instagram, or my Facebook without having to actually be here. And lastly, I just want to remind you guys that the phone on the screen, that is my personal cell phone number. That goes to no one else but me. No one else. Is not an answering service. Sometimes I get complaints from other people that they call the person and they get transferred. No, if you call that number, it's gonna ring in my pocket here, and I'm gonna pick up and answer and call you back if I don't get your, text you back or whatever. But that's my personal cell phone number. If you want to talk to me directly, that's the way to do it. Now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about healthcare. Winston-Salem has 2 major hospitals in the area, which is pretty amazing for a city this size. You also have a ton of urgent care facilities, a lot of clinics, a lot of general family practice, a lot of like specialist, orthopedic, dentist, vision doctor, everything that optometrists I think is what they're called. But yeah, every kind of doctor that you can imagine. That we're gonna have Atrium Health, Wake Forest Baptist Hospitals right off of Cloverdale and the highway right in downtown Winston-Salem. And of course, closer to the mall, we have Forsyth Hospital. Both of them are super well taken care of, friendly staff, and both of them happen to be very accessible to both highways and surface roads. So yeah, I highly recommend checking them out if you're in that area. And it's really nice to have 2 major hospitals in a city the size of Winston-Salem. And now let's talk about the history of Winston-Salem, one of my favorite subjects. The history of Winston-Salem dates back to the mid-1700s as far as the original Moravian settlers that came to the area. However, this area did have a lot of Native American inhabitants before the Moravians arrived. I would say most of our notable history actually dates to the 1800s, which is when the city started to become really popular in the tobacco and textile trades. A lot of things in Winston-Salem are going to be named Renolda or Reynolds, and that's because of course, the R.J. Reynolds tobacco family. The Renolda House Museum was the actual estate of the family for a very long time. It is now a lovely museum where they host amazing art. They also have some amazing gardens. A lot of people go take pictures there. Of course, the Renolda Village is beautiful, and we're lucky that it's open to the public. Anyone can go in there and check it out and see a lot of the original 1800s style construction and the beauty of the area. And that's obviously going to be at the Renolda Village, which is in the 27106 zip code. We also have 3 original Moravian settlements, which are in really amazing shape. You've got Bethabara, which is a public park that you can actually drive through, and there's people that kind of work there as well and walk around in the era appropriate attire there. There's Bethania, which is kind of the northwest part of Winston-Salem. Same thing, a lot of the original stuff that they built is still there. And of course, Old Salem, which is actually very, very well known. If you live in anywhere near the area, you'd know of Old Salem. It's a huge original Moravian settlement where all their buildings and their way of life is really explored, whether it's the way they cook, the way they, their schools, the way they forged iron. Moravians were really crafty people, I should say. So a lot of the way that they build things is really incredible to see nowadays. Moving on to education, if you're looking for where everything is as far as education goes, we're going to talk about it now. The southeastern side of town, that's where Salem College is. In the east side of Winston-Salem, we have Winston-Salem State University. There you also have North Carolina School of the Arts, which is a really popular college here. And on the northwest side of town, we have one of the biggest colleges in our area, which is going to be Wake Forest University. And lastly, if you're looking for something to do, let's talk about where you might be able to find that. But yeah, downtown always has something going on, whether it's a farmer's market, a classic car show, or a art event where everyone's showing off their art and selling it, whatever's going on, whatever parade or festival, there's always something going on in downtown Winston-Salem. I think we've actually been to every brewery in Winston-Salem, which is saying a lot because there's up to 12 now in the city, but there's most of them, 9 of them are actually concentrated in downtown. As far as park goes, you'll be happy to know that Winston-Salem is home to 79 parks. My 2 favorite are probably going to be Salem Lake, which is a beautiful, lake inside of the largest body of water in Forsyth County, if I remember correctly. Boating, fishing, all kinds of activities that you can do. They got a pretty pier. You can rent the I don't know what's called, the event center there for weddings or corporate events. A lot of people go jogging around the lake. It's a really beautiful trail to go on. There's also mountain biking and things of that nature. So definitely check out Salem Lake. Also Bailey Park, which is probably the smallest park inside of Forsyth County, but it gets points because it's nestled between the old tobacco factory, textile factories on one side, and then the new side is all these new modern research facilities for Wake Forest University, and it's nestled inside of downtown Winston-Salem. So it's a really cool park where you could go there, meet there, walk around. A lot of people walk their dogs there. There's always things to do inside of Bailey Park, but you can also walk. It's not that big. It's 2 acres or maybe just 1 acre, but it's close to everything. So you can meet there, walk around, and see what you want to do. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thanks so much for hanging out to me. I really appreciate that. Don't go clicking on my competitors' videos. You're on the right channel. You just go to my channel and watch those videos on repeat. Okay, that's what you should do. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in next week's video.